Give me a textbook. Okay. Next time, conductive tracts. You already know that then all tracts subdivides into ascending and descending. Ascending or afferent pathways. Some of them consoles goes to brain cortex, and some tracts unconsoles goes to cerebellum. And we start from pathways of motor analyzer, that is conductive tracts of consoles, proprioceptive sensitivity. What is it? That is internal structure of spinal cord. Here it is. Medulla, then pons, midbrain, thalamus, internal capsule, and brain cortex. If we speak about motor analyzer, in this case, receptors in apparatus of movement, muscles, ligaments, capsules of joints, that is apparatus of movement. And first sensory neuron for all ascending tracts, always in spinal ganglion, that is pseudounipolar neuron in spinal ganglion. Axons of this first neuron goes to posterior funiculus and makes, here it is, two fascicles, fasciculus, help me, gracilis and cuneatus. Number one, fasciculus gracilis, and number two, fasciculus cuneatus. These fascicles goes to the same nuclei in medulla oblongata. Second neuron, that is nucleus gracilis and nucleus cuneatus. Axons of this second neuron goes to opposite side and makes decussatio, I put here number two, decussatio lemniscorum, and name of this tract, number three, that is tractus bulba thalamicus. In pons, this tract continues into lemniscus medialis, number four. In midbrain, the same we speak about lemniscus medialis, and goes to the thalamus, and here it is, it finished in third neuron, and third neuron, that is lateral nuclei of thalamus. And axons of third neuron goes to brain cortex through internal capsule, and this place in posterior crus of internal capsule, that is tractus thalama, what? Corticalis. Here it is, number 5. Tractus thalama corticalis. And cortical center of motor analyzer, that is gyrus precentralis and lobulus paracentralis. And now, whole name for all of this tract, that is tractus ganglio bulba thalama corticalis. I write it. Tractus ganglio bulba thalama corticalis. And its conduct consoles proprioceptive sensitivity. You should write with Roman numbers, that is bodies of neurons, first, second, third, and fourth neuron in brain cortex, and and tracts fasciculus gracilis and cuneatus, decussatio lemniscorum, tractus bulbothalamicus, lemniscus medialis, and tractus thalamicorticalis. Next diagram, that is skin analyzer. And skin analyzer consists of two tracts. One of them conductive tracts for temperature and pain, and another skin analyzer of feeling of touch, tactile sensitivity. First of all, temperature and pain. That is the same spinal cord. Medulla. Pons. Midbrain. Thalamus. Internal capsule. Brain cortex. If we speak about skin analyzer, receptor in skin. First neuron, we already said, always in spinal ganglion, and second neuron. If you speak about temperature and pain, tell me please, where is second neuron? What is this nucleus in posterior horn? Nuclei proprii. Axons of this second neuron goes to opposite side. Number one, here it is commissura alba, that is place where axons goes to opposite side, and in lateral funiculus it makes tractus spinothalamicus lateralis, number two. In medulla oblongata the same, number two, tractus spinothalamicus lateralis. Then in pons, in dorsal part of the pons, number three, that is lemniscus medialis. In midbrain, the same, lemniscus medialis. In thalamus, lateral nuclei of thalamus, third neuron, and then tractus thalamicorticalis. It is number four, tractus thalamicorticalis, and cortical center in gyrus postcentralis and lobulus parietalis superior. And name of this tract, tractus ganglio spina thalama corticalis. Next, skin analyzer for feeling of touch. Receptor in skin. First neuron, spinal ganglion. Second neuron, substantia gelatinosa. Axons. Goes to opposite side the same in commissura alba. Here it is in anterior funiculus tractus spinothalamicus anterior. Here it is the same tractus spinothalamicus anterior, and then lemniscus medialis, the same lemniscus medialis, lateral nuclei of thalamus, tractus thalamo-corticalis, and brain cortex, gyrus postcentralis, lobulus parietalis superior. But feeling of touch, the same include feeling of stereognosis, possibility to recognize subjects with the help of touch. That is why feeling of stereognosis, we remember that it's conducted in fasciculus gracilis and cuneatus. That is why in this diagram you should draw fasciculus gracilis, fasciculus cuneatus, and second neuron in this case, that is nucleus gracilis and cuneatus. That is why here in substantia gelatinosa we speak about second A neuron, and nucleus gracilis and cuneatus, that is second B neuron. And then tractus bulbothalamicus joined with lemniscus medialis, and then lateral nuclei and gyrus postcentralis. That is why number 4 tractus thalamo-corticalis, number 5 fasciculus gracilis, 6 fasciculus cuneatus, 7 decussatio lemniscorum, 8 tractus bulbothalamicus, and then lemniscus medialis, lateral nuclei, tractus thalamo-corticalis, and gyrus postcentralis. Clear? That is feeling of touch and feeling of stereognosis. And here it is two tracts. One is tractus gangliospina thalamo-corticalis, and another tract, tractus ganglio bulba thalamo-corticalis. They are conscious tracts, and two unconscious. They goes to cerebellum. Which tracts do you remember which goes to cerebellum? Tractus spina cerebellaris posterior and tractus spina cerebellaris anterior. We start from posterior tract. If it is unconscious proprioceptive sensitivity, that is why receptor in apparatus of movement, muscles, ligaments, capsules of joints, and first neuron in spinal ganglion. Second neuron, nucleus thoracicus. And axons of this second neuron goes to lateral funiculus at the same side and makes here tractus spina cerebellaris posterior, number 1. And from here this tract goes to medulla oblongata. Okay, I draw. Help me, what is this part of brain? What is it? Nobody? What is it? And what is it? That is medulla oblongata, and here it is pons. And I will draw this way. Look here. That is pons and medulla oblongata. Here it is. This is medulla, and here it is pons. Clear? That is medulla, and in medulla oblongata we have inferior peduncles of cerebellum, then in isthmus superior peduncles, and here it is cortex of cerebellum. Clear? And now this tract, tractus spina cerebellaris posterior, it goes to inferior peduncle and finished in cortex of cerebellum. And number 2, pedunculus cerebellaris inferior peduncle. That is all. Tractus spina cerebellaris posterior, it's conduct unconscious proprioceptive sensitivity. And now anterior tract. the same spinal cord. And pons and medulla oblongata, inferior peduncle, superior peduncle, cortex of cerebellum, and the same in opposite side, pons, medulla, superior, inferior peduncle, and cortex of cerebellum. And now, receptors in apparatus of movement, first neuron in spinal ganglion, and second neuron, nucleus intermedio medialis, second neuron. And from nucleus intermedio medialis, axons goes to opposite side in commissura alba, number 1, commissura alba. Here it is tractus spina cerebellaris anterior, number 2. Then it goes to medulla oblongata, continues to pons, and in the region of pons, this tract goes to superior peduncles, and between superior peduncles of cerebellum, we have velum medullaris superior, and this tract goes to opposite side through velum medullaris superior, number 3, velum medullaris superior, number 4, superior peduncle of cerebellum, and finished in cortex of cerebellum. That is the same unconscious proprioceptive sensitivity. They are ascending tracts. How many diagrams? 5. 3 and 2. 5 diagrams. And now descending tracts. Can you give me another piece? Descending tracts, they are efferent or motor tracts, and they subdivide into 2 groups, voluntary and involuntary. Voluntary, they are pyramidal tracts. Do you remember names of pyramidal tracts? Tractus cortica spinalis and cortica nuclearis. And all another descending tracts participate in extrapyramidal system, they are involuntary. Now we start from pyramidal, voluntary motor tracts. That is brain cortex. In brain cortex we have first neuron, that is pyramidal cells in gyrus precentralis and lobulus paracentralis. That is internal capsule. And it is not necessary to draw thalamus because descending tracts not pass through thalamus. Then midbrain, then pons, medulla oblongata, and spinal cord. And tractus cortica spinalis, it passes through posterior crus of internal capsule, tractus cortica spinalis. Then here it passes through basis pedunculis cerebri, the same tractus cortica spinalis. Then in pons, pyramidal tracts pass in ventral part, here it is, tractus cortica spinalis, and goes to medulla oblongata, and here it is. Some fibers goes to opposite side, continues to lateral funiculus, and finished in motor nuclei on the opposite side. Second neuron, that is decussatio number 2, decussatio pyramidum, and number 3, tractus corticospinalis lateralis. And another tract, this one, goes to anterior funiculus here, and from anterior funiculus goes to opposite side in commissura alba and finished in motor nuclei the same. Here it is, tractus number 4, corticospinalis anterior, and number 5, commissura alba, goes to motor nuclei, that is second neuron, and axons of second neuron goes to striated muscles, that is muscle. That is tractus corticospinalis, from brain cortex, gyrus precentralis, to motor nuclei in anterior horn, and lateral tract goes to opposite side in decussatio pyramidum, continues to lateral funiculus, and anterior tract goes to anterior funiculus and goes to opposite side in commissura alba and finish in motor neuron. And another tract, the same, we speak about pyramidal system, that is voluntary motor tract, that is tractus corticonuclearis. It starts from brain cortex and goes to motor nuclei of cranial nerves. If you remember, how many cranial nerves you know? 12 cranial nerves. First, that is olfactory nerve, it is sensory. Second, optic nerve, the same sensory. And eighth nerve, vestibulocochlear, the same sensory. 3 sensory nerves we have. All another tracts, all another nerves have motor nuclei. For example, in midbrain, which cranial nerve has motor nuclei in midbrain? Do you remember? Third nerve, nervus, who remember what is the name? Ocular motorius. And fourth nerve, that is trochlear nerve. In the region of superior colliculus, oculomotor, and the level of inferior colliculus, trochlear nerve. Then in rhomboid fossa, fifth nerve, nervus trigeminus, it has motor nucleus, nucleus motorius nervi trigemini. Then facial nerve, it is seventh, sorry, here it is fifth, here it is seventh, facial nerve. Then sixth nerve, abducens, it is in pons, and in medulla oblongata, nucleus ambiguus, it is motor nucleus for 9th, 10th, and 11th cranial nerve, and nucleus nervi hypoglossi, it is motor for 12th cranial nerve. That is why here it is that is midbrain, and then here it is pons and medulla oblongata in my diagram. That is pons, and here it is medulla oblongata. And we said that at the level of superior colliculus we have motor nucleus of third cranial nerve. At the level of inferior colliculus, motor nucleus of fourth cranial nerve. In pons, motor nuclei of fifth, sixth, and seventh. Fifth, sixth, and seventh cranial nerve. And in medulla oblongata, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. They are motor nuclei of cranial nerves. 9th nerve, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And now, first neuron in brain cortex, tractus corticonuclearis pass through knee of internal capsule, number one, tractus corticonuclearis, and this tract goes to motor nuclei of said cranial nerve. It goes to the same side and goes to opposite side. This tract goes to motor nuclei of fourth nerve, then fifth nerve, then sixth, but seventh nerve receive fibers only from opposite hemisphere. Then ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th. 12th and 7th cranial nerves receive impulses only from one hemisphere. All another nuclei from both, from right and from left hemisphere. That is why if we have tumor in right hemisphere, left motor nucleus of facial nerve will not receive impulses. And facial muscles of facial expression will paralyze in this case. But muscles of eyes, which receive innervation from third, fourth, and sixth cranial nerve, and muscles of mastication, they receive innervation from fifth cranial nerve. They decrease function, but they will not paralyze, because from opposite hemisphere they receive innervation. Only facial nerve and hypoglossal nerve supplies muscles of the tongue, and facial nerve supplies muscles of facial expression. And these two nerves, they lost function if we have problem with opposite hemisphere. And other nerves, they not, the function of another nerve not disappear because they receive innervation from both hemisphere. That is tractus corticonuclearis. And now, extrapyramidal system. Main tract of extrapyramidal system, that is tractus rubra spinalis. Tractus rubra spinalis, it starts from red nucleus in midbrain, that is first neuron, and in midbrain this tract goes to opposite side and makes decussation. Number one, decussatio ventralis tegmenti, and after that tractus rubra spinalis goes to dorsal surface of pons, medulla, continues to lateral funiculus in midbrain, in spinal cord, and finished in motor nuclei of anterior horn, that is second neuron. And from motor nucleus, axons goes to striated muscles. Number two, here and here and here, that is tractus rubra spinalis. Oh, it is the same, tractus rubra spinalis. But in this diagram, we show communication of red nucleus with brain cortex. Look here, that is cortex of hemisphere, internal capsule. Here it is nucleus caudatus, that is thalamus. Here it is nucleus lentiformis, and nucleus lentiformis subdivides into putamen and globus pallidus. And I put arrow from brain cortex to putamen, and put here number three. That is tractus corticostrialis. Between brain cortex and striatum, we have tractus corticostrialis, and then from pallidum we have tractus pallida rubralis, I put here number 4, cortica strialis and pallida rubralis, these two tracts makes communication between brain cortex and red nucleus. And tractus pallida rubralis the same, has communication with medial nuclei of thalamus, number 5, nuclei medialis thalami, and with black substance, substantia nigra, in midbrain. They are this medial nuclei, substantia nigra, they are parts of extrapyramidal system too. And now this diagram has name diagram of extrapyramidal system, and here it is, we show communication of tractus rubrospinalis with brain cortex. And another diagram, that is my last diagram today, and we show communication of tractus rubrospinalis with cerebellum. With cerebellum, the same beginning. Red nucleus, tractus rubrospinalis, and here it is cortex of cerebellum, here it is first neuron, cortex of cerebellum, then second neuron, the same in cerebellum, that is nucleus dentatus. And from nucleus dentatus, we have tract which goes to red nucleus through superior peduncle of cerebellum. And name of this tract is tractus cerebella tegmentalis. I put here number 1, tractus cerebella tegmentalis, number 2, that is superior peduncle of cerebellum, and this tract goes to red nucleus, and red nucleus here, that is third neuron. And from this red nucleus we have tractus rubrospinalis, it makes decussatio ventralis tegmenti, tractus rubrospinalis, the same, and here it is the same. And motor nucleus in anterior horn, that is fourth neuron. And now, common name for all of these tracts is tractus cerebella tegmentalis. That is descendant tracts from cerebellum, and here it is extrapyramidal system. Well, 4 descending tracts and 5 ascending. Next time I give you written test and you will draw these tracts. In time of mini exam and in time of final exam, the same necessary to draw all of these tracts. Well, today that is all.